these are papers that I used to pick up when I was walking from the bank because I just thought everyone in the city was doing it, so it was the right thing to do. Buy a newspaper after work. Now they want to interview me. They want my opinion on what's going on in the economy. Like, bro, I could cry every single time because I'm living proof that you can dream something and it can come true.
What's going on, people, and welcome back to the Black Print Pod, providing aspiring black entrepreneurs and business owners the blueprint to start your success story. I'm your host, Darren, and today I'm joined by a very, very special guest. But before we get into that, if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's grow the Black Print community. If you're listening on Apple Music, please give us a 5-star rating and drop a comment as well. Let us know what you like and don't like about the podcast. Right. Without much further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I am joined today by the founder of the E-Man Effect, Emmanuel Asukwo. How's it going?
Yo, bro, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. I'm not too bad. Did I pronounce your last name right?
No, you done it well, man. You will enter Wakanda. You're in. You're invited. You're good.
Well, thank you very much. How's your journey down today?
You know, it's good, man. It's good. It's just good to be out. Obviously, with everything, the lockdown. My hair's a man. So, you know, like, I can't even care. I'm a man that I normally get a haircut like once a week. Like, I feel like, you know what? Life is life. Like, what can I do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just happy I ain't got COVID. That's it. That's all that matters. We're just living, man. But no, it was good to be out because you can spend your life on Zoom meetings and calls back to back to back. So yeah, it's just good to be outside.
Yeah, no, that's calm, man. And so for those that don't know then who Emmanuel or the E-Man Effect is, could you very quickly just run us through a little introduction?
So good. You know what? We got the short and the long. I'll start with the short. So the short one is I'm the people's financial advisor. That's the short one. But the longer is that, you know what, I'm a financial expert. I've been doing this qualified, regulated financial advisor. Like, I'm a real financial advisor. It's what I been doing for the last over 13 years. And yeah, I'm just a person with a passion to try and get people to understand how to make money work for them. I think a lot of us know how to work for money, but we don't really know how to make money work for us. And, you know, even when it comes to thinking about doing it, we don't know what to put in place. And so we're just copying people. And I always say, you know what, if you're investing and you haven't done the research and you don't understand what you're doing, really you're gambling. And I want to take us out of the gamble, because a lot of the time a few will do well, but most won't. And so I want us to make educated financial decisions.
Nice. Well, I think that's definitely something that a lot of people could obviously use. So we'll dive straight into it. That's what I was trying to say. Cool. So you've been doing this you've been a financial advisor for about 13 years. Yeah. Okay. And the E-Man Effect itself as a company has been about for how long?
The E-Man Effect has been around for just over a year. Okay. Before that, it was a company called Noir Excel. Okay. So when I first started, I'm a big believer in names. I'm a big believer in, like, name something, it means something. So for me, I wanted my company to stand for Black Excellence, but I knew if I called my company Black Excellence, it's a bit too rough. It's a bit too aggressive. Do you know what I mean? So how do I tone it back? So I said, listen, I'm a big Jay-Z fan. So I said, let me use, that's where I got into the word noir, and I liked how he used it. So I was like, all right, I'll use noir, and then rather than excellence, excel. So yeah,
I like that.
That's the original company and what it was called. But now, you know, I'm on a national stage. I'm reaching the nation. So you know, it's good to have a personal brand and have something with your name in it, because people used to call me the Noir Excel guy. People even used to know my name. Do you know what I mean? Which is cool, because that's what I was putting out. Yeah. But now, like, my name, I want people to know my name, be able to find me easily, be able to get in contact with me. Oh, I saw this guy quickly on the TV. If you type in Emmanuel, you know what I mean, finance guy, I want to be able to come up in that search. So yeah, that's where we've moved to now. Nice.
And so Noir Excel, what was that doing? Is it a similar thing? Or?
Similar thing. So Noir Excel basically was all about just trying to help people from the background that I come from. So as a financial advisor, financial advice in the UK really aimed at middle class, upper class. It's not a black and white thing, and that's the system in the UK really isn't. It's really a class thing, and so they know that, you know, people from a lower class are more likely, you know, ethnic minorities are more likely to be there. But there were some poor white people as well, so it can't be a race thing. That's how they think will understand it. So for me, I understood that as I got higher and higher and got to meet more affluent people, I started to see less and less people that look like me. And when you work in a bank, you know, you even as a financial advisor, I was the only black financial advisor in my team. In areas in the country, I think when I was at Barclays, there's about 8 of us in the whole country, and that was 8 out of over 500. There was 8, and most of those people worked in Peckham, Brixton, parts of Birmingham, Manchester that were, you know, black areas. I was the only one that worked in the city, like in London, in central London, with a high net worth individual. So for me, I understood that when I left the bank, became independent, started working with more high net worth people, not only did my number of, you know, ethnic clients go down, but also colleagues. I was the only one. And so for me, I was like, how can I be here on Sunday with like 500, 600 people at church, yet during the week I don't see none of you lot? Like, what's happening? Yeah. And sometimes you got to be the change you want to see. So I gave up my company car, my company credit card, my comfortable living, and said, look, I'm going to go on this mission to try and educate the people. And that was Noah XL.
Yeah, that is powerful, man. Wow. Well, thank you, because obviously, as we know, that's very much needed. And obviously, as you saw yourself through the kind of lack of diversity as you were kind of climbing up the ranks, if you like, I think that's powerful to be able to kind of give up the lifestyle that you were living, as you said, company car, company credit card, etc. Walk away from that and say, thanks, but no thanks. I think that's powerful. And so talk to me a little bit about your education, because I'm guessing, or I'm assuming that your education was kind of geared towards maybe economics, finance, maths type of situation. So presumably you went uni?
Went uni, yeah.
And studied?
Accounting and finance.
Okay.
But my education, like, people always think like, oh, you must be really smart. Nope. My education would tell you something very different.
Really?
Like, I got 4 GCSEs. I had to get a letter from my head of year, who I still talk to now. I go back and do talks at his school and stuff.
There you go.
And yeah, he's an amazing man. He was my basketball coach. Taught me how to play basketball. I was really good at basketball when I was younger. And but he also done PE, and he was my head of year. So he wrote a letter for me to get into college. Otherwise, I wouldn't even go into college.
Really?
They wanted me to do like BTEC type stuff, and you know, my parents are Nigerian. Like, let's be honest, like, it was never gonna be accepted. Like, they were onto me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So he wrote a letter, and then they let me do. I did a GMVQ, or like it was like a BTEC or whatever. But then I did sociology as well. So that was how I got my free. So that's how I got into college. But then I still failed in college. And then, but I got into university because I played basketball. They gave me an unconditional. Greenwich University gave me an unconditional. So I went Greenwich unconditional. Then I got a third. Tell a Nigerian dad that you got a third class. Oh Lord.
I try and reenact that conversation for us if you don't mind.
This guy at my graduation ceremony, if you see the sour face that this guy was walking around with, I could see, you know, man saying nothing, but in his, I can tell that the guy's saying, "What are we celebrating here?" Like, you know, like, what are we celebrating? Are we really doing this? Like, have I really left my house to come and take pictures for a third class? Like, this is unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, I knew that, you know, I had to hustle. So I got a job part time while I was doing my degree. So I was working at Marks and Spencer's 5 a.m. and then I used that to become a cashier in Barclays. Was a cashier in Barclays, and then I had a great manager. And I always talk to people about mentorship. Like, mentorship is so important, because the mindset that I had was, I'm a cashier in Barclays at 19. Most of my friends ain't even got a job. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing good. My mum can finally tell her friends, look, Emmanuel, he's in the bank. Like, you know, I want to tell everybody he's a banker. Listen, I'm a cashier, you know. She's calling me a banker. These people, you understand? So, yeah, it's just Africans. This is how they are.
Facts.
This is how they are. So, yeah, so I'm now here doing this. And for me, it was a case of this mentor. He he could see beyond what I could see, and he could see the talent that I had, but also the fact that if I don't go in a certain direction, I could end up in another one. And he really took me under his wing and challenged me. And he was like, the first thing he told me, and like when someone's going to give you this speech, you're thinking, yeah, okay, cool. You're going to give me some big, powerful speech about something really important. The first thing he told me was, if you're on time, you're late. And when he told me, I didn't deep it. Like, I just thought, on time, like what? Why is time so important? But what I didn't realize then, but I did it because I respected him as the manager of the branch. He was young. He was the manager of a branch. So he had achieved, like, he was 24, 25, and he's a branch manager, like in a quite a large branch. So he's doing really, really well for himself. So I respected him for that. So anything he told me, I would have done. But I didn't really get this whole being on time. If you're on time, you're late. And so, but what he's saying is that to be on time, it takes preparation, takes planning. And it means that you're moving towards something. So if I want to be on time, I'm going to check the night before, I'm going to maybe iron my clothes to make sure that I give myself the maximum time in the morning. I'm going to plan my route. And also I'm going to check, okay, this train is going to get me here by this time. But if I get the train before, God forbid anything bad happens, I still have enough time to be on time. That's the type of planning. And that means that when you wake up, you're prepared for your day. And if you go into your day prepared, the outcome that you're going to get out of that day is going to be much greater than if you're just chasing the day.
Yeah.
And so for me, just that small switch really helped me become ahead. And then the second thing he told me is that don't act at the level that you are at the level you want to be. So I'm a cashier, but he's like, you don't want to be a cashier. You want to be something higher up. So act in that way. And so he used to make me take the pamphlets that used to be in the banking hall, take them home and read up on a credit card and a debit card and savings accounts and mortgages. And I would read all these pamphlets. And so I stopped watching, like, EastEnders in the evening and so forth. And I started reading this stuff and started to learn. So I had to understand that while my peers were enjoying their evenings, I'm studying.
Yeah.
But I got to the point where I was doing Target. I was 3 days a week because I was still studying. I was doing more Target than people that were 5 days a week. And so what happened is that now I become important to the branch. If I'm on holiday for a week, the branch don't hit, the performance drops in the branch. That's the effect that I'm having. All because I've got a mentor, the E-man effect. I've got someone pushing and telling me, look, think above and beyond. And sometimes the third thing I'd say is I was coachable. Some of us are not coachable. Like, we want help, we want support, but we're not coachable. We're not ready to adapt. We're not ready for someone to tell us, do this, and then we go and do it. We want to challenge everything. And actually, you've come here, be coachable. I'm going to teach you the way I know best to teach you. And if I want to take advice from you, if I want your help and support, I'm going to have to learn to do it your way, even if it's different from mine. And so I became coachable. What he told me, like I said, I would listen to, I'd put into practice. And even if it was uncomfortable, and trust me, I'm a cashier, I have to have conversations with people people just want to pay in their money. They don't want me to disturb them about, oh, have you thought about a this and a that? But I had to use it. And I always tell people, the skill that I used was the same skill that I used to get kicked out of class in. My banter, my personality, me being able to be jovial and make you laugh and be relatable to you. When I was at school, I used to be cracking them jokes. I'll be in the corridor. You just in the corridor, just looking. Nobody's here. You're looking in the window of the class, wishing you were in there. You thought, why did I tell that joke now? Like, it was funny at the time, but now you're in the corridor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now that coupled up with the right knowledge, that personality, that skill in the right environment. Now I tell people I get paid to make people laugh and tell people about finance. Like, I get paid for it. People pay me money to do something I used to get kicked out of class for, but it's in the right environment. And so for me, that coupled together really helped me get to where I am today.
I think that's a very important point in terms of what you were just saying about the banter used to get you kicked out of class, and now it's your personality, it's your brand. Yeah. Because, I mean, even just scrolling through, for example, your Instagram, you could tell that you're just unapologetically yourself. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? I was watching the group economics video that you posted, and look at your lip. Come on. Bro, that killed me. Yeah. I was like, nah, this is what we need. Just people that are just not afraid to be themselves, and that's their brand. Do you get what I mean?
And the funny thing is that people get it. Like look at your lips is something that my mum said to me from small. Like, so the reason, like, and that's the thing. Some people get it, some people don't. But a lot of people get it because it's a common phrase that's been said. But I'm using it in the context of like, right, think about what you're saying. Look at what you're saying. Like, what you're saying doesn't match what we're trying to achieve here. So for me, that's something that my mum has always said. You know what I mean? Like, I always be like, oh, can I have that piece of chicken? And she'd be like, look at your lips. Like, you know that's your dad's. Do you know what I mean? That big piece of chicken's for your dad. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, it's one of those things about now I get to be in my own voice. But it hasn't always been the case. I tell people, when I started my career, I'm 21, 22. When I started my career, I had to watch Made in Chelsea. I had to watch Made in Chelsea because I'm from the block. Like, I'm from the hood. I'm not hood, like, as in, like, I was out here slanging rock or something, or do you know what I mean, or doing drugs or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I'm from that environment. I grew up in Tower Hamlets, like East London. I'm from a certain environment. That's where I grew up, and so that's how I taught. My cousin was in Brixton, so I was either in Brixton or I was in Tower Hamlets. That's where I knew. Yeah. And so for me, that's how I taught. My vocabulary was limited. And like I said, I didn't do well at school. I wasn't reading enough. So my vocabulary is limited. So now I'm speaking to people that have money. I thought, how am I going to relate to them? I started watching Made in Chelsea because I realized that it's about rapport. Yeah. The reason that, we can meet, the reason we can meet and we can talk about football, or we're going to have things in common naturally. Yeah. Just being black. Being black men, we're going to have natural things in common. Things that we're going to relate to, things that we're going to have watched, things that we're going to have grown up seeing, just naturally. So that tension is just taken away. When you meet someone that's from a different environment to you, or from a different upbringing to you, like, how are you going to build that rapport? What are you going to connect on? And so I understood I had to take myself out of my world and get into theirs. But now I'm on national television talking exactly like this. I just don't believe it. I didn't think the day would come. Do you know what I mean? That I could actually have my own voice, my own personality, speaking the way that I like to talk, use the word simple English that I like to use without having to use. I used to study thesaurus and learn these big words because I needed to impress and do these big presentations in board meetings. Now I just go in there and talk. I tell people, I speak to, like, you know, commissioners, like really high up people in TV, and I'm in my hoodie, I'm in my living room. Like, I ain't even got an office no more. Do you know what I mean? Because of lockdown. So it's so important that, you know, actually is a process. And if I didn't humble myself to say, okay, I'm going to change, a lot of men will say, no, not me, bro. I got to be me. Like, man's being fake. No, you can adapt. Yeah. You can adapt to a situation and still be real to yourself. Yeah. Do you understand? You can, and that's the problem for a lot of us. We've been taught that, listen, if you're real, then the way you talk now is the way you talk all the time. The way you dress now is the way you dress anyway. No. Like, you can adapt to a situation, especially if you're trying to sell something. Like, the best salesmen know how to make you feel comfortable. And if I know that I want to get this sale and I want to achieve, then now I need to make sure I make you feel comfortable. It's not about me; it's about you. Yeah, I'm being real to myself, but understanding the client that I'm sitting in front of and making sure that they are in a space to buy from me, because that's my objective.
Yeah, wow. That a lot of that resonates with me, because I think I managed to kind of do a similar thing myself in terms of feeling like I can adapt to many different scenarios through just the various retail jobs I had prior and during uni as well. In those environments, I think that's exactly how you gain that experience. So for any of the kind of younger listeners out there who may be kind of doing the A-levels or whatever, that's something very important, I think. Just get that little experience, whether it's in retail or whatever, that just gives you that opportunity and that exposure to speaking to a lot of different types of people. Do you get what I mean? Because similar to you, I used to work at Phones For You, for example, but the Phones For You I was working, I used to speak to a lot of tourists. Do you get what I mean? Because I was working on the Strand. Oh, wow. I also worked in Apple, for example. That was in Kingston. That one, similar to what you're saying, you get a lot of affluent people coming in, so you need to learn how to speak to them slightly differently. Bro, I worked in William Hill in Croydon. Good. So you can imagine the type of people that are coming in there. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's exactly how I've myself kind of learned how to adapt. And I think, like I said, to the kind of younger listeners out there, just seek out any opportunity to gain that type of experience, and so that you can adapt, exactly as Emmanuel just said.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me, is about, and this is what I teach. So I give talks at schools and universities and whatever. And when I give my talks, the biggest thing I tell people is forget money, understand value. I teach people about value. And sometimes I think we're so caught up on money that we don't understand the importance of value. And I always give the example. Like if I call it apple and trees. Like, so for a lot of people, we're focused on the apple. The apple is money. We want an apple. All right. So you're focused on the apple, and that's that's your aim. But because you're only focused on the apple, you're always going to have to find someone that's got a tree, and then you're going to have to pay them to get their apple.
Wow.
All right. And that's how we live right now. We go to work, and at the end of the day, at the end of the month, someone gives us an apple for our work. For me, I'm about value. What value is planting the seed to grow that tree. Now that takes time, and and because it takes time, there are times where you're planting and you're sowing, and nothing can be seen. But you have to know that you're nurturing, you're building value. Now, because I've added a value to myself, now I can always produce apples. You can always make money. We've seen it in the lockdown. People that have added value to themselves can go on Fiverr, go on People Per Hour, and do websites, do the amount of people that are doing podcasts now. And now, but you don't know how to edit your sound. People can go online because they've got the skill. They've added value to themselves. But sometimes people won't take it because you have an opportunity to go and learn a skill, but because maybe there's not the right salary or any salary sometimes they'll just pay your travel. Sometimes they're not even paying your travel. But you got to see the bigger picture. Once I get this skill, how do I make this skill work for me? And how are you going to do something? A lot of us want 100% of nothing. And I'm all about, I'd rather have 50% of something than 100% of nothing.
Yeah. Boy. No, that's fair. Bro, you've got me so lost in what you're saying. I'm just like,
don't mind it.
I'm just like, wow, the fire and the gems right now. All right, cool. So, so you probably attribute a lot of, or you kind of alluded to attributing a lot of kind of how you think and how you've adapted and stuff to your mentor from Barclays, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just go back to then. So you're about 19, 20, 21 years old, working in Barclays as a cashier.
Yeah.
What was the next step for you after that? And at what point did you graduate uni as well? Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm 19 Barclays. And then the next step, I guess for me, the next step was to stop being a cashier. And basically, this is what I always tell about getting yourself into the room. So I went in as a cashier. Cashier was the lowest level in the bank, is the cashier. They're the lowest paid people there. But for me, it was about, I'm in Barclays now. Barclays is huge. So I could have carried on trying to apply for a grad scheme or whatever it may be. But for me, I understood that, listen, get your foot in. You're not going to get the grades to get on a grad scheme. So get your foot in the door. Now that I'm in, now I can see the internal job boards. So I get young people coming, oh yeah, you know what, I want to get into this, or I want to get into that. And I'm like, even if you want to get into law, get yourself into a law firm. What is it about? What type of law do you want to practice? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the feeling of it. Even if that means that you've got to be admin or you've got to be, paralegal, whatever it may be. Like, get in there and experience it for yourself. For me, being in Barclays now, I knew I wanted to be in Barclays. I didn't know what job. But being in there, understanding the different roles that are available, I met the financial advisor. And I always tell people, I met the financial advisor, and we used to stay after work, and so he parked his car, and I saw he had a Saab. And I remember Saab from Paid in Full. When he comes back home and they pick him up in the Saab, and from there I've always wanted to have a Saab. So when I saw the financial advisor and he gets a Saab for free, like, this is company car, I said, no, I want to be a financial advisor. There wasn't any other job giving you a company car, like,
particularly that's a Saab,
especially a Saab. Like this generation won't get it, because obviously Saab, I don't even know if Saabs even exist anymore.
Well, God, yeah.
I don't even know if they even exist. I ain't seen one for time.
You definitely didn't pull up in one anyway.
You know what I mean? But my time, that was big. So that was what made me say, okay, I want to be a financial advisor. Plus, financial advisors could move from branch to branch. They weren't stuck in one branch, and they're meeting people. So they're meeting, high net worth individuals. So I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted to become. And so then I was like, okay, speak to the financial advisor. What do I need? Oh, you need this qualification. This is what you have to do. Oh, how am I going to get there? But luckily, I just carried on being great at what I wanted to do. So basically, I was great at being a cashier, and smashing the targets. I failed 1 year. Had to repeat my second year at uni. Because I was just putting too much time into the banking. Because I was like, listen, at one point I wanted to drop out of uni. I didn't even want to go, because I was like, I don't need uni. I realized that I didn't actually need uni to get the job that I wanted. But to be fair, I was like, you know what, I started something, let me finish it. finish uni, 22. At 22, Barclays say, "What do you want? What job do you want?" Manager says, "What job do you want?"
This is your mentor that says this.
This is not my mentor anymore because my mentor's moved on. He's gone on a big project to South Africa because Barclays bought a South African bank, and he's gone. Obviously, he's the guy that Barclays decides to send over to South Africa to teach all the other branch managers how to be managers. Right. That's how big he was. But we're still keeping in contact. But now this is my new manager. But I'm smashing it. So they're just like, "Listen, you've smashed it. What do you want? What position do you want? You're too good to be, a cashier." And so I said, "I want to be a financial advisor." They get the financial advisor manager, come down, meet me, likes me, have an interview, do a few interviews, have to go off to do some day tests and stuff like that, come back. In the end, I get the job as a financial advisor, age 22. Youngest financial advisor at the time in Barclays.
Wow. Well, congrats for that then. Yeah,
all my colleagues at late 40s, early 50s, all my colleagues.
Wow. And you're 22 years old.
22 years old. And
black.
Black and the same job.
Noir Excel.
Come on. From them times, from early, do you know what I mean? That is it.
Bro, yeah, that's sick.
This is me with 4 GCSEs. Do you understand what I'm trying to... And this is what I try and tell people. Don't allow your current situation to make you feel that you are defined by your current situation. I was never defined by the number of GCSEs I had. Even today, I'm not defined by the E-man effect. Yeah. That business could fail. That doesn't mean I'm a failure. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not because I don't even live right now. What I'm achieving now is I've already worked and thought about years before, and I'm working in the future. I'm thinking about where I'm going to, and even though like now, for example, people would say, "Oh, I'm at the best. Like my company's doing the best that it's ever done. I'm making the most money that I've ever made." I'm still trying to improve. I'm still trying to think of how can I be better. I've got brand meetings at the moment thinking about how do we need to change the logo? Do we need to color scheme? Do we need to change the messaging? I'm trying, and this is what I feel a lot of us don't do, is that we do something well and we're like, "No, I do this well, I'm just what I want to do." Do you understand? But I'm a man that loves food, so I always use like food examples. Like McDonald's, they'll bring out the double quarter pounder, they'll bring out the double Big Mac. This is a big McDonald's. They make billions as a company. They're still bringing change.
Yeah.
You got one product for the last however many years, same price. How?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember when a Big Mac meal, when a value meal was $2.88. That was like it's like £5 now. So I don't understand how we do stuff like you can still go to a barber shop and get a haircut for £5. How?
Actually, not that I need it anymore because I shave my own head.
On, how are we doing business like this and thinking that it's acceptable? Like inflation is real, and so this is
even man like Fredo put his price up. The chocolate bar.
Thinking like it used to be 10p, 10p.
Now man come like we're paying for his mortgage and kids. What's going on?
Come on, but man, understand value because actually I've added enough value at that price point that you've been hooked. You've sampled me. You know how good I am. Now I'm going to be this price. There's a certain generation that will continue to buy. But also my overheads have gone up. My costs have gone up. My branding, my marketing to reach you so you know I exist has gone up. So, but this is what we're not doing in business.
Yeah.
We have great products. We have great ideas. But we're not doing the leveling up to the next level for people to take us serious as a business.
Yeah, no, that's true. And so how well...
Sorry, I go on. I just go. Sorry, I apologize.
No, please do not apologize because this is absolute gem upon gem, fire upon fire that you're dropping right now, and I'm sure the people and myself appreciate it. No, because basically we'll have you'll mention something I want to speak about, but then I'm like, but hold on, let me go back into the timeline, and then because we'll come to the current day, for example. Okay, cool. So talk to me about so you're 22 years old. You've made financial advisor. All your colleagues are 40, 50 and potentially don't necessarily look like you either. How do you kind of feel in that environment? How do you, Emmanuel, kind of see that? Do you see it as a challenge? Do you see it as I need to prove myself? Do you see it as just keep doing what I'm doing?
For me, it wasn't a thing because I'd grown up in a bank. I was in a comfortable environment. So although I was the only financial advisor, black financial advisor in my team, in my area, whatever it may be, I'm still in Barclays. I've been in Barclays since I was 19.
So you know the culture.
So I know the culture. I'm very comfortable. remember, I was a cashier. So now, all the branch managers, I used to work with them. All the personal bankers, even new cashiers, I know them, and I've been in their position. So when it's time to get leads, I'm better than I'm able to do something that most financial advisors are not comfortable with. I can stand behind the cashier and tell them what screen to go on. I know the screen. I'm sat where he sat. Like I know how to generate. I know how to use the system because I've come from actually being a part of the fabric to now being in this position. Whereas most financial advisors, sit in their room and wait for you to send them clients or booking appointments. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I can go out and I can walk the queue. You know what I mean? I can stamp checks and just be told, oh, it's a big check. You sure you want to put this in this account? What account? Okay, let's go and talk about. Do you know what I mean? I can do that. I understand the system. I can help. And also because I can add value to the branch, people want to make me busy. They want to book appointments with me. So then I had other people in other banks have a client. They're like, no, I want you to see Manuel. Even though I'm not their financial advisor for that branch. So then I'll just be driving around or going to different branches seeing. So I was so busy. I was smashing target.
Wow.
So I was just smashing target. But I had to learn about the different products and so forth. And luckily, that's where, again, having older colleagues, they used to put me on game. So they'd be like, yo, E-man, yeah, just, this is a good product. Explain it like this. Boom, 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 boom. And then you go and you just repeat. Boom, boom. And people buy. Like, wow, is this it? And this is the thing that we don't understand is that for me, I love to be around older people. Like, and sometimes as young people, you think, oh, that's another generation. Like, I love to be around older people because a wise man learns from somebody else's mistake.
Yeah.
A wise man learns from somebody else's mistake. So if I can get around someone who's doing what I'm doing or already done what I want to do, and they can put me on game, this is why I spend more time on LinkedIn than I do on Instagram.
Bro, that's the purpose of this pod. That's the purpose of this pod. Like, so to do that, exactly that for the people out there.
Like, because for me, like, if I know, because I get people that are like, oh, I want to change careers, I want to get into that. I'm like, are you on LinkedIn? Like, go on LinkedIn, type in the job role that you're looking for, see who in your connections are in. Number one, you got to have connections. So be connecting with people, like adding people, networking, building relationships, adding with people. Then now you can find someone that's doing that. If you're directly connected with them, you can send them a message. If not, find who is in your circle that's connected with them. Ask them if they actually know them, and then can they introduce you? Now you can speak to somebody that's doing what you want to do and have that conversation. They can put you on game. The mistakes that they made, how you can get there quicker. It might have took them 10 years. It might only take you 2. That's the game that somebody can share with you just from their experience. Experience is the best teacher. And so for me, I love to be around older people. And that's why I got married young. I got married at 26 because everyone around me was married. Because all my colleagues are much older. They're already married, divorced, married again. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? They're all in it. And so I was around older people. So I had to level up. Some of the ways that I thought, or some of the ways my man them were thinking, all of a sudden they seem foolish to me because I'm surrounded by older people that think life just that little bit different, that few steps ahead. And so that's helped me so much. So one thing I would definitely encourage people is try and find older people that you can be around. And if they ain't got time to mentor you, that's fine. But at least you can bust a question with them and they can just give you an answer.
Well, you know what comes to mind as you're saying that kind of saying that you are the average of the 5 people you most spend your time with. And so as you're saying, you spend a lot of time with people older people who are married, and they're not crack a joke about what they were up to on the weekend. They were so you're like, okay, well, that's where I see myself type of thing. So yeah, no, that's very important. And again, kind of it kind of leads to as well kind of networking and stuff like that, making sure you have people within your connection that you can kind of draw experiences from and stuff like that, because it's important, because people can't do anything by themselves, can they? And that's where a lot of people I think fall. They think they've got the master plan, they know what they want to do, they don't need anybody's help. But no, you need everybody needs help, right?
Yeah, even simple things like, I mean, business people, even help like applying for grants. If you can find someone in your network that's good at grant applications, what should be said, write it in a positive way, showing your business plan in a way that you might not have that skill set. You might have a great idea, you might have all the great energy, but that's not the gift that you've got. But somebody's got that, and they might have done it before. So you can hone in on that, help get their support to help you level up. Whether even like we talked about getting loans. Do you know what I mean? Some people are able to get loans from their parents or whatever it may be, but you might not have that. But you might have a friend who has a connection to a bank, or knows the bank manager, or knows or knows a new grant that's coming up, or a new initiative that's happening. Especially being black, let's be honest. Like sometimes let's take advantage. We've been disadvantaged for so long. Now that they're trying to put P in us, we should be ready to snatch that.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I don't need the white man's money. My guy, chill out for me. Chill out. Like,
No,
do you know what I mean? Like, go grab that. If someone's saying, listen, we're gonna and there's no strings attached, or you know what I mean, or there's low interest, you can just get. And that can help you level up. Go grab that. Like, we've been here for years wanting to get loans and stuff and struggling. Computer says no. Finally, it says yes. Go take that. So for me, it's about having people around you, especially in business. Like, and business is something that I'm really feel that for us, it's so important that we have business and we look at how we can develop. Because for me, at the end of the day, no matter what anyone says, we saw with Lloyds. They're underpaying their black staff, and big on them for coming out and saying it. I respect them so much as an
Excuse
organisation.
is kind of weak though.
Do you know? There's always gonna be an excuse. You know what I mean? But for me, big up them for putting it out there voluntarily, because a lot of companies aren't, because they know the numbers. Let me tell you something. These systems, these HR systems that you've got, that big companies use, like, because I've worked in quite a lot of companies, and obviously I've worked in HR systems. The system will tell you. This is not something that you have to research.
They click a button.
You can click a few buttons, and you can segregate your colleagues and find out the information you need to work out. So it's not something hard to find out. But people don't want to put it out there because they don't want the backlash.
They're frightened of what? Yeah.
They're frightened of what people will say. And big up Lloyds for being out there. But Lloyds had to be, because Lloyds are telling other companies, listen, we're going to take money out of you and not invest in you if you don't have women on your boards, if you don't have more black people on your boards, or whatever it may be. So they had to look at themselves first as well. And I respect that. But for me, we know that we're going to get underpaid. We know that they feel just giving us a job is they've done a lot, let alone pay you the same. Like, I've given you a job. More time, you know what I mean? There are people that are white that I'm not giving a job to give you a job. I've done enough. And so for me, we have to understand that if we want to be, like, we need to look at companies and want to go to black-owned companies. I always tell people, you need to understand that your business might be the one that's going to hire my child. My child is going to get work experience because you took your initiative and created something for them, for them to be, for us as a community. And it's so important that we don't limit ourselves. And business is going to be a big way for us to develop and grow in the future.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I think that's very true, man. And I think it's good that obviously 2020 has been a very thought-provoking year, right? And we've seen in other communities where they do that. They look after each other. They look out for each other. You've got, as you said, my son's born, and I know that my son's going to work in your company because X, Y, Z.
Come on.
And I think that exactly what you just said, and I think especially with everything that's been going on this year, I think now is the time where the movement has to start, and it has to. Yeah, we have to be moving in that direction.
Definitely.
But no, yeah, thanks for that. Okay, cool. So you're now a financial advisor in Barclays. And sorry, the reason I know this is a pod which half of the strapline kind of says aspiring black entrepreneurs and business owners. But the reason I'm talking about kind of your actual work experience is, again, because the second half of the tagline is to start your success story, right? And I'm going to come on at the end to ask you what success means to you, but I think the reason that's important is because success doesn't necessarily mean having your own business. It could be at let's say 18 years old, 19 years old. For Emmanuel, success for you could have been, or would have been, to become a financial advisor,
of course,
and be within Barclays and strive within the Barclays environment. So that's why I'm still kind of asking questions about your experience at work, because again, for people listening, if it is to kind of go into a bank or go into law or whatever, it's kind of touching into the experiences that you've had and what kind of made you think about the next step and the next level, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. So you've become the financial advisor. You've got your colleagues that are very different from you, but
Yes.
you're kind of socializing with them in aspects, and you're starting to think like them, etc. So, sorry, I don't think I'm not sure if you mentioned, but Noir XL.
Yes.
When was that? What year was that? Or let's say, when was that born?
So that was born 2017. So
2017.
only 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I spent the first 10 years of my career learning. And this is what I talk about. My work was my work experience because my business is what I used to do for somebody else. And sometimes the reason that for me employment is good because it allowed me to understand how much should I charge? What are the insurances that I need to put in place? What's the HR policy? What protections are in order? What type of service should I be offering? Do you understand? I'm learning whilst getting paid. So somebody's paying me to do a job, but at the same time, I'm learning from my job how to do my job for money and do it for myself. And so sometimes that's why we can knock employment because we're here and we're just missing all the things that we could be learning. So I'll meet young people and they'll be like, I don't like my job, and I'll be like, okay, so you should be working harder, right? And at your work, and they're like, no, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't like my job, so no, actually, I go in late, or actually, I'm not putting in that much effort. So I'm like, so how is that gonna? You don't like your job. How is you doing less going to help you change that situation? And this is the mindset. For me, if I don't like my situation, I've got to work harder at it. I've got to try and because at the end of the day, this place is going to give me a reference, right? Yeah. So number one, I need to make sure I get a good reference when I want to apply to somewhere else. Number two, actually, I might not like the job I'm doing, but I might like the company. So are there other opportunities within the company that I could go and do? But am I going to get that if I'm not showing the right attitudes? Also, it may be a thing of actually I need to take what I need from this company as much as I can, whether it be paid for qualification or whatever it may be. And so actually employment can be a very good breeding ground for get us prepared and ready for when we go into business. Because a lot of people want to do business, but what we forget is that with business, it's you. That's you. There's no payday. Like, do you understand? Like now you sit down and you just wait. Okay, now I'm going to get paid in 4 or 5 days. You've done nothing. You've got guaranteed you're going to get paid. Yeah. Somebody else has created a company and they can afford to pay you. Well, now when you're going out to do your own business, if you haven't got sales or you haven't got money coming in, there's nothing to go and take out. That there's not a magic payday. And so actually, sometimes we don't respect our employment. And actually, employment for me, I remember I left. Noir XL was the third time that I tried to go self-employed. The other 2 times I had to quickly run back to employment because I wasn't ready. But I was able to go part-time, and that was the difference. I was able to do stuff, first evenings and weekends. So I was working evenings and weekends, building up income, then part-time, and then I went full-time. And so over that period of time, I still, when I needed to, I'd go and grab a contract, 6-month contract here or whatever it may be, to just supplement the income. Until now, I tell people this is a recession. This is a pandemic. Like, places have been closed. I was making most of my money doing seminars and workshops. Couldn't do that. I made more money this year than I have in any other year, whether employed or self-employed. And I was able to do that during one of the worst times ever because I've been honing my skills and developing and building systems and putting in the work. And so it's really important that people understand that there's a process to it. It's not just, I have a great idea and tomorrow I'm just going to quit my job and go and pursue it.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely powerful what you were saying, especially in regards to people who might not like their job, for example. Because something that was coming to mind as you were saying that is, I remember this isn't even work related, but I remember I got caught speeding once and I had to go to a speed awareness course. Now I don't know if you've been to one of those, but them days are dry. They are long. Oh my days! But the funny thing is, while I was there, everybody around me must have thought I was loving it, and like I was like the teacher's pet or whatever. But I always say to people, especially if you're like at work and you're in like boring training sessions or whatever the case may be, for me personally, the only way time's going to tick and go is if I take part in this. Yeah. If I just sit here watching the time, bro, my day's going to drag. It's gonna drag. Do you get what I mean? So that's why, especially in those types of things, like I always come across as like the teacher's pet or whatever. But bro, trust me, I'm doing this to try and get out of it as quick as possible. Even though a second is a second, regardless of whether I'm participating or I'm not. But the way it feels, I'm sure when you go gym and you do planks, for example, that minute feels like an hour.
Man shaking.
Do you know like that? So it's exactly like that. If I'm just sitting there like, that minute is going to feel like an hour to me.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So I have to. And so I think that what you said there hits the nail on the head. You have to just take what you can out of every experience, every environment you're in, whatever. Do you get what I mean? You have to take it out. And especially, let's say, for example, there's a lawyer listening to this, or an aspiring lawyer listening to this, or an aspiring accountant listening to this, or aspiring financial advisor, and you get that work experience, and you go in, you start your graduate program at whatever accounting firm or whatever law firm that you wanna go at. If you know, or even if you don't know that you want to go in and do your own thing at the end of it, bro, there are numerous contracts that you have at your disposal that they're paying you to read. Yeah. There are numerous engagement letters that you have at your disposal that you can just pick up and read if you wanted to.
Come on.
Pick them up and read them. Pick them up and read them. So you know, okay, when I go into business, what were the things I was seeing in these engagement letters? What was I seeing in these contracts? What was I seeing even in the billing system? And all that type of stuff. Do you get what I mean? I think
like, it's so important, like what you just said, and that's why, like with LinkedIn, and I always tell people, you just have to know how to. If you go to someone if you find, like you said, a lawyer, I want to become an inspiring lawyer, and I'm starting off this journey, and I want to find someone to mentor me or someone to ask questions to. If you go on LinkedIn and search lawyers, and then you find a black lawyer, and then you message them, for example, and say, look, I'm black, I'm just starting out. I've read your career. It looks amazing. You're in a prestigious firm. I just like an hour or half an hour of your time just to ask you a few questions to help me on my way, because I aspire to be just like you. 9 out of 10 are going to give you that hour, if not even longer. Because they understand that they didn't have that. They couldn't send something. They couldn't send that message when they were there, and they wish they could. And so for me, it's just about how you do it. But for some of us, it's like, some of us, we're entitled. You feel like someone just should be your mentor. And then not only just someone should be your mentor, they should just be your mentor for free. Like they didn't spend years paying money to learn and study and sacrifice to get to where they are. And so again, and that's why sometimes you'll get a knockback and feel like, oh, you know what, I knew I have to do it all my own. I'm gonna get it anyway. It's not. It's just about your approach. Yeah. And again, that's something I had to learn from a mentor, from someone older. Like, hey man, think about how you're approaching to people. Think about someone else has a family and so forth, and they've got limited time, and you're asking for some of their time. Put a value on time. We don't value people's time enough. We always talk about money, and we value diamonds, but what about time? But guess what? Because all the jewelry, all the money, everything, when you're gone, you're gone. This year we've seen it. How many people wasn't expecting to die this year? Like, and not that you really know when you're gonna go, but this year's been wild. Yeah. Just a one pandemic, boom, gone. I had an aunt within 10 days, here, gone. Like, and it's like, for me, it made me just realize that we just take liberties. Just because we close our eyes, sleep, wake up, we just think we're entitled. Yeah. But time is important, and that's why I try and value people's time, because actually, you know, it's the most important. Yeah. Because if we ain't got no more time, it doesn't matter how much money, how much goals, how much wealth we're trying to build. Like, it's gone. Yeah. And so value people's time, and make sure that you're valuing your time. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing to make yourself better? I always talk about, I'm wearing this do better every day. And this is one of my clients who made this jumper, and you'll see me in bare videos. I try and wear it all the time. Whenever I'm doing a podcast, I try and wear it. Feel free to plug it. Who's the brand? The brand is Do Better Every Day. Oh, it's Do Better Every Day. Okay. DBE on Instagram. And for me, I've got this thing. They've got this saying. You know, I try and get better by 1% every day. So every day I try and be 1% better than I did yesterday. And so when I met her and I was helping her, and she was like, I've got this brand Do Better Every Day. I was like, yes, this is my saying. And then I was like, actually, if I'm going to wear something out, let me wear what I believe in. Do you understand? I don't care if I wear the same jumper. Like, no, the funniest thing is, as much as I talk about money, most of my videos you'll see, I wear the same, like 10, 15, I'm in my yard. I don't care. Like, the clothes don't make me. Do you know what I mean? I wear what I believe. Yeah. And for me, it's about trying to doing better every day. If I can be better every single day, I know if I can move 1%, and 1% might mean, actually, I normally wake up at 6. I wake up at 5:55 just to make sure I got that extra bit of time to prepare. And I want to give myself half an hour end of day wrap up to look at, what have I done today? What has gone good? What has gone bad? Let me give myself half an hour to do that. Little things. I got time booked in with my kids, with my wife. Do you know what I mean? Try and eat better. Try and do some exercise. These are little things that if you do them regularly, all of a sudden you're seeing improvement the big improvement. The problem is we aim for the big, but actually to get the big, we need to do the small.
The small, yeah.
And that's where we miss it, because we just aim. I just want to be in Dubai. No, it's cool. I get it. It's nice and it's tax free. I get it. But what I'm saying is that goal is great. But for me, it's about what are the small things that you're doing to earn it. And for a lot of us who don't want to earn it, we just feel like we deserve it. And because of that, we take shortcuts. Because of that, we decide we move in a way that's illegal or not trustworthy, or we do things that are not correct to get it now. And sometimes I always tell people, be careful what your goals are. Be careful your goals, because sometimes your goals are the reason why you're not reaching where you want to be. Because your goal is to get 100k followers, or your goal is to go on luxurious holidays or drive the nicest car. Actually, you're limiting yourself. Because when you get that, what's next? What's next? Like, but actually, what are your goals? Be careful what you wish for. Like, because for me, my goals are huge, and whether or not I achieve them or not, I know that having such big goals, I'm going to achieve a lot of stuff that I never would have achieved if I only aim for what I'm going to achieve. If that makes sense. Yeah. So we always talk about, don't aim for the stars. Do you know what I mean? Don't aim for the moon, the stars, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? There's further out there. You got a whole galaxy out there. Why are you just focusing on the moon because you can see it? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Aim for the galaxy. And guess what? Even if you don't get to the furthest end of the galaxy, you'll pass the moon. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's the type of mindset that I want us to have and be thinking about.
Yeah. Wow. That's a very, very good point. And it's something that I don't know if you've seen because I posted the first episode of this on Wednesday. The guy on there, Casey, he said something very similar. So that's already a pattern I'm seeing there with the way kind of the business owners think. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? And yeah, I think that's very important, man. Just being able to set your sights higher so that you can achieve your greatest possible best self.
Exactly.
And just now, so you touched on kind of like your mentor. Well, you mentioned your mentor before, but obviously you were mentioning mentorship in a little bit more detail, but just talk to me about mentorship for you and what it kind of means. And I guess also, I don't know if you necessarily you'll know the answer to this question, but where can somebody listen to this think or look to go out and get mentorship? I know you mentioned kind of LinkedIn and stuff like that, but do you know of any other ways as well that people can go about getting mentors?
But I think there's different types of mentorship. Like, I got mentors that people, like, we've had discussions and you're mentoring me. And I don't have a mentor particularly right now. I haven't had one for a number of years. I have people who are older that I speak to when I have advisors, and I have people I can confide in when things get harder, when I have a question or when I need help or support. I have people who I can tap into their network if I'm looking for help or support in my business or in life in any way, which is great. But at this moment, I don't particularly have a specific person who's a mentor to me. However, I have people who I take mentorship from, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. Like, for example, I always talk about one of my favorite people on this planet is Bianca Miller. Miller Cole, sorry. Byron Cole. Byron will kill me. Her husband will kill me if I don't add the Cole. So Bianca Miller Cole. But the reason I always call her Bianca Miller, I've watched her from Apprentice, and I've always thought she was just amazing.
I think she got cheated out of that series, by the way.
She should have won.
She 100% should have won that.
By far. And so when I got to work with her on the show last year, on the Channel 4 show last year, for me, that was like a dream come true. And then I was nervous because, as humans, we always put people on a pedestal and we think, oh, they're going to... And when you meet them, they just... I've met so many people that, you rate, and then you meet them in real life and you're like, actually, all right, you've done well, but you're not someone I'd ever want to chill with. Do you know what I mean? I wish I didn't even meet you. I wish I just had this other impression of you. But she was even more amazing in person than even what I could even imagine. And she's just been like an amazing big sister to me, even though she's younger than me, but she's taller than me, so it's cool. But yeah, and so I watch what she does. We have conversations, and I see how she thinks. I see how she moves, and I'm like, wow, I take so much inspiration from it. Another one is Anna, who I was on the show with, Anna Williamson. She does Celeb Go Dating, and her personality and her demeanor and the sacrifices that she makes being a mum, as well as being a business owner, as well as being a celebrity, being someone on television and an expert. For me, it's just amazing. And how she combines it all with family, I take from. And the list goes on of people that I look at and I say, look, I can learn from you. And this is the problem. Some of us, like, I don't know why, but we feel that if we give someone a big up, or if we see something great in someone else, that it belittles us. No, like for me, being around someone like Bianca makes me want to work harder. Makes me see that, okay, E-man, you're doing amazing, but there's areas. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure Bianca will be around other people and she'll still feel like that's just life. Do you know what I mean? Like you always feel like there are things that you can improve on. There are places that you can do better on. And for me, I feel like that's the type of mentorship that I like. Do you know what I mean? Now, when it comes to young people, I feel like, yes, if you can get, like I said, when I was young, I got someone experienced, someone older, someone who's done it, people that have been able to achieve. But the reason that my mentor when I was in the bank could really resonate with me is that he was Bangladeshi. So he was from an ethnic minority. I grew up in Tower Hamlets. Majority of people from Tower Hamlets are Bangladeshi. So we had, things in common. The way we talked and so forth were quite similar, and we could relate to one another. So he really resonated with me. I feel like you've got to find someone that resonates with you. Like, for example, I get young people that come to me and they be like, oh, hey man, I want you to... But I'm not your best mentor. You need, like, for example, like a Bola Soul who does exactly what I do, but she's a woman. You're going to relate to her better, like being a woman and how she's going to come to you, how she's going to talk to you. Or she's younger. Sometimes, like, she's younger as well. She's a bit cooler than, like, me. Do you know what I mean? So she's going to give it to you in a different way. Sometimes, like, it's not just, oh, I see this person on television, they must be my mentor. It's like, actually, who's the best mentor for me where I'm at?
Yeah.
And the stage that I'm at. But I think, reach out to people. Don't be afraid of rejection. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You reach out, someone says no. Guess what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that's what we do. You take your shot. Take your shot. If the person says no, or they're too busy, or if they can point you in the right direction or whatever, great. If they can't, if you don't do it, you're never gonna get it anyway.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like we've got so much pride when we've got nothing. What is rejection? So I reach out to someone and they tell me no, or they tell me, oh, I'm too busy or whatever. Why would I feel weak or embarrassed? Or, bruv, I'm proud of myself. I've reached out.
Yeah.
Like, but like, you see the man them that get bare girl, they're confident, they're out here moving to girls. You know how much rejection they must get? It don't faze them because they know they're one step closer to getting that number. Do you know what I mean? Just keep going. But it's one of them things. So for me, it's like, don't be afraid. Don't allow rejection. Sometimes put more energy into your dreams than you do your fears. Whenever I start like a session, I always try and tell people that put more energy into your dreams than you do to your fears. Like, yes, it can be scary. Yes, it can be nerve-wracking. Yes, it can be uncomfortable, but do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway. If you really want to see success, if you really want to make this thing work, do it anyway and see what happens.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, no, that's some solid advice right there. So thank you for that. All right, cool. So earlier on, you touched on the fact that you tried to go full-time twice prior to actually going full-time. Was that with Noir, or was that
with a similar concept to Noir, just going like being like self-employed financial advisor, giving advice to people? It wasn't as sophisticated as Noir was. Noir, I had a plan. I've learned. I've built up. I understand the concept. I had a business plan. Like Noir was proper, but that's from the mistakes. Yeah. So the first time, I was doing really good in the bank, really good, hitting targets, smashing out of the park. I was like, the bank are paying me X, but I'm doing the calculations. I'm making the bank Y, and they're paying me X. Although X is comfortable, if I cut the bank out, I make a lot more. So a company comes in and says, look, we'll give you the clients. You be self-employed. You can run your own business. Do your thing. It was a joke. They didn't have the clients. They didn't have anything. I was running around.
Really?
And that's when I realized that, the bank made it easy. They had clients. Like, they had people that associated. It was easy to speak to people. And that was the most important thing, was being able, in my job, the most important thing is to be able to speak to people. You can have all the qualifications, all the skill in the world. If you haven't got any clients or anyone to speak to, then you've got no business. And so I learned that lesson, and so I went back employed. Then the second time I got made redundant, and I was like, you know what, ban all of them. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not having it. Of course, they made me redundant. I'm black. I'm the first to get, and that may be true, but who cares? Really and truly, at the time, I should have told myself, humble yourself, go get another job. But actually, I was like, no, I'm going to take this redundancy, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to prove the world wrong. They don't know about me. Listen, I know nothing. Like, I know nothing. So, in fact, within 6 months, I was back begging somebody to give me something. ended up taking a job much lower paid than what I was on before. Because I didn't humble myself and just, polite at the time. So when it came to the third time, I was like, actually, I've got a nice stable job. I'm going to do Noir Excel in the evenings and weekends and actually start to build it up. And so that's what I did.
Okay, nice. And so, sorry, the transition from Noir Excel to the E-Man Effect, was it effectively just a rebranding, or did your business change?
You know what it was? It was a rebranding. It was a rebranding in regards to actually me trying to open it up and me trying to build my personal brand and understand that actually I'm the face. People need to know who I am, and your name is important and who you are, who you stand for. And so people are finding it again hard to find my company because all they heard was Noir Excel, Noir whatever, and they'll try and search Noir guy or things are not coming up. Do you know what I mean? At least if you typed in E-Man or do you know what I mean, E-Man financial advisor, I should come up. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually being that savvy to understand that, people are going to search you. They may only get a 1 minute clip of a video, or they might only hear you on the TV or whatever. The first thing they're going to do is go and search. What keywords are they going to pick up from hearing you that they can then put in to find you? And so understanding that. But then also clients kept telling me, calling me, telling me, this is the E-Man Effect. So I would have clients who have one-to-ones to me. So I do one-to-ones where I get people's finances in shape, get them saving, investing, building to their financial goals, build a plan for them. And obviously once they're on the plan now, they're going back to the real world after our meeting. And so they'll go into the supermarket and be like, oh, I want to buy that. And then they'll hear my voice in their head telling them not to buy it. And then they'll call me and say, I was going to buy this, but I heard your voice in my head not to, so I didn't. That's the E-Man Effect. And I'm talking about over 20 different people said to me, that's the E-Man Effect. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to call the company the E-Man Effect.
The E-Man Effect.
Because remember I said names mean something. And if people continue to say this is the E-Man Effect, then this is the E-Man. That's what I want to do. I want to have an effect. I want to have a change. I'm all about building change. So that's how the name come about.
Nice. Yeah, nice. And so when you were, just before you started Noir then, at what point or how did you get to the point where you were like, I've developed enough skill and knowledge to actually start this?
Come on. This is the biggest... I love this question. I realised, because I started giving talks. And when I first started giving talks, I was doing them for free. Just anywhere that would let me talk, I'll go out and give talks and so forth. And I realised, I'm sick of this talk thing. Like, I'm getting standing ovations, I'm getting claps, I'm getting people queuing at the end to talk to me and stuff. And I'm like, I should be doing this. This is my calling. I'm ready now. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I had to go and do it regularly but then you get to a point where you're like, nah, I'm too good to be doing this for free. Do you know what I mean? I'm adding too much value. I'm making too much of an impact to not be, for everyone to walk away happy with what they've took and me to walk away with just their claps and adulation. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough. Yeah. It don't pay no bills. Yeah. So that was when I realized, okay, no, this is an actual business. And so then I started doing the seminars in the evenings, on weekends, and I started getting invited to more and more. Then I started to run my own, and then it just flew from there.
Nice. And so we won't kind of dwell on Noir for too long, only because, as you say, obviously you kind of changed it up to go, and it's obviously now the E-Man Effect. So we'll talk about that. So the E-Man Effect, what services, what do you provide? What do you do?
Yeah, so the E-Man Effect, basically, we've got the social media where we give content and that's free. That's out there trying to educate people, really trying to help people understand challenge. Like my videos, like the ones that we talked about earlier, they're only 30 seconds, 1 minute, but so I can't tell you the ins and outs and the intricacies of finance or whatever, but what I can do is make you think about how you view your money, or what you're doing with your money, or what can be done to change money, or what is wealth, what's your why are you doing this stuff. That's what my video is, to provoke you into thinking, maybe I need to think a bit different, or maybe this stuff is cool to us, but actually it's a bit naive. Like I think a lot of the time with the stuff in my videos, people realize that that's just a young way to think. I'm big now. Do you know what I mean? I'm big. I don't need to think like that anymore. Do you know what I mean? I understand. I don't need to go on holiday to validate anything. I don't need to buy Balenciagas. Do you know what I mean? I'm a big man. I got 4 kids. Do you know what I mean? That designer don't mean nothing to me. So it's one of those things where I think that's what the videos are. But then, I offer one-to-ones, again, helping people. I do seminars, talks, community groups. I do, obviously we do the television, we do stuff on TV, where again, we do talks, TV shows, all of that type of stuff. So it's literally just finance in different ways, but in a way that you can understand. It's normal language from people that come from where I come from, and it's just about trying to get you to understand that yes, you can. You do not need to be rich to start investing. You do not need to be wealthy to start investing. It's not only people that have come from a certain background that can start to invest and build wealth. It is available to you if you know how to pursue it, and I'm going to teach you how to do that.
Yeah, no, nice. And so is that the kind of whole eclectic of finance? So what, like mortgages and credit cards and everything?
Yeah, so we do all of that, and then obviously I'm a qualified financial advisor and mortgage advisor, so I'm qualified. So again, so we can do mortgages, pensions, investments, life insurance, wills. I've got companies that I can do. So, and I help people throughout the whole process. So my clients will come to me and they'll be like, okay, I want to buy a house. We'll go through how much I need to save deposit. We'll look at the area, find it. When they go on viewings, I'll go on viewings with them. Sweet. Make sure they buy the right house. Do you know what I mean? That they don't get bumped by the estate agent trying to bump them and all of that. Like, I'm holding their hand the whole process. Like, I got two people that March last year, I met two girls that I met March last year, had meetings with them, and now both of them have bought properties this year in a recession, in a pandemic. And so for me, it's about, but again, my thing's not cheap. And you get what you pay for in life. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of the time, for me, we're looking for the most we can get for the cheapest price. And a lot of the time, everyone's trying to give you as little as they can give you for the cheapest price. And so to make the most profit. So for me, I want to add value. I know that even if I only do a half an hour call with you, I'm going to give you an hour's worth of knowledge. Even if you only speak for half an hour, I'm going to give you stuff that you're going to think, wow, I'm always about adding value. So because I know how I am, I need to make sure that I'm compensated for that. So as you've grown, one of the biggest challenges for me has been wanting to give back and help my community. And, there are certain people that want to book me for events and they'd be like, they have no budget. And I'll be like, oh, okay, let's go. Let's rock. But now I limit it.
You know what? Sorry to cut you off there. This, because it's very interesting you say that, because that's something I was gonna kind of touch on, because obviously this week we heard about Tiffany Haddish with the Grammys, for example. Come on. And so that was something that, because obviously the type of space you're in, I imagine obviously you'll get booked to do. So I just wanted to understand your experience with that type of stuff. So,
jeez, let me tell you something. When I saw that, I was laughing, because people don't know, like, when they see you, like, these lot will really try to take liberties. I had one. I can't even say, you know what I mean? But big television company, 1 to 5, one of the main television channels like that we all get. Do you know what I mean? Want to book me to do some financial talk. I live in Bromley. They wanted me to drive to Southend, to film for an hour and drive back. It's like a 2-hour drive down to something like 2-hour drive. Like 2 hour there for 4 hours of driving. Plus an hour, that's 5 hours. And they wanted to pay me. They said, oh, you know what? It's just a quick segment. Oh, we want to pay you £150.
Does that even cover my petrol?
I said, what? Okay, yeah. Plus, we'll pay your mileage. Their mileage, mileage is normally like 40 something p. Their mileage was like 20 something pence.
Come on, man.
What?
Yeah, come on.
I was like, no. But it would have been a sick look for me to be on there. But I had to understand, and this is where sometimes we have to understand the power of no, because again, I understand. Tiffany said yes. She said, "Yeah, I'll do it. Just pay my outfit and stuff, and I'll do it. I get it." Because sometimes you want the look. You want to, the busier you are, the more corporates are going to see you. This game is not TV and all that. It's not where you're making your money. You're making your money from corporates. Corporates are booking you for their campaigns. They're booking. They want to post on your social media. They want to use your personality and your brand to match with their brand, to make them seem cool, to make them seem relevant, to make them seem relatable. So that's where you're making your money. I get paid much more on my corporate gigs. Do you know what I mean? Than I do on my television stuff. But at the same time, you have to balance the fact that I have to understand, if I say yes to everything, When the next person comes that's got less experience than me, they'll say, well, if E-Man will accept this, then they need to accept even lower. And so for me, I have to understand that sometimes I just have to say no. And I have to know the level that I'm, the standard and what I bring. And if they want to work with me, and they came back. So I missed that one. I didn't do that one.
Yeah.
But about 3 weeks later, about a month later, they come back with another opportunity, and they paid the right money.
They came correct.
They came correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm not here for that. Do you know what I mean? I know what I'm about.
Yeah.
I know what I stand for, and I understand that. So yeah, but I remember when I first started, like, there are some things that you'll go on for free. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, of course. And even now, like, yes, I will let people, the world know, I will do, there are some talks that I do for free. But I will put a number on it. So last year, I was meant to do, I said I'd only do 12, like one a month. I ended up doing about 20 for free last year. That's not going to happen this year. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a lot less. Yeah. But I will pick. You can't come to me. You know the maddest. This is the maddest that people will come to you, ask you to speak at their event or do something for them for free, and then be angry if you say no. Yeah. Did you bump your head?
That's the wildest thing, isn't it? Because even like Tiffany Haddish was saying, it's like it could affect her chances of winning.
Come on.
And it's like, you shouldn't. The two should not be related in any way, shape, or form.
It doesn't make no sense. And for me, I have to understand, like, listen, do you understand this is my job? Do you understand this is how I pay my bills? And this is my skill. And the only reason, that's why now I tell people, listen, no disrespect, but I'm not the one for you. You see your budget's not me. Like, you need to go and speak to a newer financial expert. You can go on Insta. There's bare people that are starting out their page and whatever and just doing it. Yeah. You need to book one of them and they're looking for the shot and the opportunity. Don't come to me. You see me on a big television and then feel like, man, for me to get onto BBC, do you know how hard I've worked? You know how many times I've had to post and create content and be out here and go to events and really hone my knowledge, read, watch. I watch to keep it relevant. Like, you know how much gossip pages I have to watch to look at what are young people talking about? Yeah. What's going on? Like, do you know, I'm not in that world. Yeah. So I've got to look at what are people talking about and then think about how can I create content around that. That takes time. Just because you see 30 seconds don't mean it only took me 30 seconds to make. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Then I edit it myself. So for me, you're trying to get all of that and you want that for free. Plus I've been doing this 13 years. Over 13 years as a financial advisor. Over 15 years in financial services. And you want that for free.
Come on.
Like, hello? Yeah. Like, when you book me, even if you're booking me for half an hour, it's not the half an hour that you're paying for. You're paying for all the experience that's gone before. I can just deliver it in 30 minutes. It didn't take me 30 minutes to learn it or master it.
And you weren't always able to deliver it in 30 minutes. You've mastered that.
Come on. Yeah. So that's what people are paying for, and people need to respect that. And so before I used to have an issue, and this is what I would tell business people, like, especially if you are someone like me that's trying to do something for the community, but you need to respect yourself. Yeah. And understand that, yes, you want to help, but at the same time, people should want to also help you. They should want to know that this is how you feed your family. This is how you make your living, and they should want to pay you. Yeah. Because when they go to other people, they'll pay them. Yeah. They'll pay them. People that don't care about their community, people that don't, and they'll pay them for their services. So don't make them take advantage of you and take your kindness for weakness. Yeah. And so it's really important that you value yourself and know your costs and know what you're doing. And if you're going to do something for free, that's because you wanted to do it. Yeah. Not because you were pressured into it, or if you don't do it, then you're not real.
Yeah. Yeah. And sorry, a question just came into my head that I need to offload before I forget it.
No, go on.
So obviously working in financial services, I know you're obviously qualified as a financial advisor, mortgage advisor, right? But do you not need to be regulated by is it the FSCA?
Yeah, FCA, yeah.
And so how do you go about sorting that out?
Yeah, so basically I'm regulated. So before I had my own company, and I was regulated under another company that was directly regulated under the FCA, and they regulated me. Right now, I'm not doing enough financial advice to even be worth having my own company. So I'm registered as an advisor at somebody else's company. If I need to do financial advice, then I'll do it through that company until it gets to a point where it's worthwhile for me, where I can focus on it. But right now, the TV, the corporate stuff that I'm doing, the schools and the talks is my main income. So financial advice isn't actually my main income anymore.
Fair. And in terms of the corporate gigs and stuff that you get, how much of that is it they approach you, and how much do you have to kind of source your own?
Good question. I think it's a little bit of both. So like I have run campaigns on LinkedIn, for example, connecting to loads of teachers. So I did a campaign where I just connected with loads of teachers, and then obviously told them, look, I'm going to do talks at schools if you want, and that went amazing. And this, I say, we're not using the thing properly.
Yeah,
like LinkedIn got these tools that you can use, and I use it, and then I'm able to just connect with people that now are booking me to go and speak at their schools. Like there are booking agents that work with schools, and you can wait for them you can register with them and wait for them, but they've got their favorites that they're picking. So for me, I just go direct, and then I just had schools just, yeah, we want you. And then now I get booked at schools. I've had universities come to me. They come to me direct, universities, when they're doing events. And a lot of the time I've got people who are in university, who are at uni, and then they're doing an event and say, oh, have you thought about getting Emmanuel done? We'd like to have someone about finance, talk about finance. And then I get recommended that way. So that's how it's been. So it is a bit of both. I have had to, send out emails and stuff like that. Because again, people might want to book you, but they might not know how to find you. They might not know that you're available for that. They might not know you offer that service. And that's why I always talk about, like I said, I always talk about food, but McDonald's is advertising all the time. The drive-through is RAM. They're still advertising. They're still putting adverts out every single day. You still drive past the bus and you see the McDonald's advert in the morning for their breakfast. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yet they're already a £1 billion company. So I don't understand why we're just starting out and we feel that we can cut corners and we don't have to market and we don't have to brand ourselves. We don't have to send out emails. And how much emails are free? Yeah. You write a template, you find the email address, you send it for free. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's very true. I did have another question just now that popped into my head, but it's now, no, I've remembered it. Again, because you were talking about a lot of gigs you've been getting at schools and stuff like that. So this is a complete segue and completely kind of, not necessarily, it's very relevant, but a slight segue if you like. How important do you think it is to kind of get the financial literacy, talking about savings, mortgages, etc., credit, even maybe tax returns or whatever, onto the school curriculum? Because I feel like that is something that I don't understand why it's not.
I understand why it's not. And that's because a lot of people are winning from people being in debt.
That is a very, very good point.
People are making billions of pounds. If you think about, all these loans, overdrafts, credit cards, even gambling and debts and stuff like that. These are £1 billion industries. And so, because you can see this, for me, it's a blatant scam, because you're gonna make kids go secondary school, primary school, secondary school, college. No education on finances, how to manage money, how to talk money, anything like that. Then all of a sudden they go to university, you give them a credit card, overdraft, student loan, and you expect them to manage it properly.
It's madness.
It's a scam.
Yeah.
You know that the majority of people, especially people who haven't got parents to teach them, and people say, oh, it's on the parents. And this is again why for us it's another scam. Who taught our parents when they came over how to manage money? When you come from a country where when you want to buy a house, you buy the land and you build it yourself. There's no mortgage. So who taught them about mortgages and how mortgages work? Nobody taught them. Now you expect them to teach their children. Nobody taught them.
The blind leading the blind.
Hello. And so for me, I understand why they don't, and this is why I'm here to make sure that it can be.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, I tell you, most of my bookings are private schools or academies.
Really?
Yeah, that's who's got budget. Public like state schools they ain't got no budget. Academies got budget, so academies, private schools, universities. That's my main bookings. And so a lot of the time when it's time to speak into state schools, it's more a case of just doing it for free, because they got nothing. They got no budget, but they're the kids that need it the most.
Yeah. It's mad. But yeah, sorry, like I said, that's just a little segue. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. So thanks. And how do you feel, or do you feel your race has impacted your business or kind of your come up in any way?
Good question. You know what? I grew up in Tower Hamlets, so I didn't really receive racism in Tower Hamlets as such because white people are a minority. Like, so I've never been called like a racial slur walking down the street or all of that type of stuff. But I'd say that in regards to like in the bank, it was definitely a positive thing. I've never been called a unicorn so many times in my life, like when I worked in a bank, because they were just like, we've never seen anyone like you. And I know to them it was a compliment, but I always took it as a diss because I know people like me that are smarter than me that are just, do you know what I mean? But they just ain't getting the opportunity. They just ain't got the chance. You just ain't giving them the chance. I just so happen to be in the right environment, and because I'm in this environment where it's safe, you're giving me a chance. But let's be honest, if we was on the street and we were walking, you was crossed over or you would have put your head down, and do you know what I mean? We wouldn't be able to interact like this.
Yeah.
We're just in a safe environment, and so because we're in this environment, now you're like, oh wow, no, you're cool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, because the only black people are on EastEnders or on television. Like, do you know what I mean? And when it comes to TV, the only, they don't portray us in the best light, and then the only black people we see are footballers or comedians or musicians or so forth. So now in the corporate world, I feel like it's a safe environment. So I wouldn't say racism or it's really affected me. If anything, it's helped me because they've just been like, nah, look, this guy can do it, and look, there's no one. I'm just the best. I was very, very good. Like for in life, find what you're good at and find a job that matches what you do well. When it came to speaking, when it came to building rapport, when it came, like, I'm really like, that's a natural skill. That's not something that I've had to learn. I'm just naturally a people's person. I just get on with people. I can just vibe and talk and you know what I mean? So I've just got that. Add the right job to that and I'm gone. So I was always really good at what I did. And then I was just in a progressive. So Barclays was I always talk good about Barclays. Barclays is very progressive in regards to always, like, if you're good, Barclays don't care. Like, that's one thing I'll tell you about Barclays. They don't care. Like, if you're good at what you do, I was 22 with a third class degree. Like, they made me a financial advisor. Like, if they see the talent in you, there's no one stopping it. I moved from a cashier. I was still a level 1 cashier to level 4, which was the financial advisor. After I did it, they stopped it. You can't do that anymore. You can only go 2. So you'd have to go to level 3, which is like a personal banker, and then you could go to a level 4, which would be branch manager, financial advisor, that type of level. After I did it, but Barclays let me happen because of the talent. And so again, sometimes it's good. That's why it's good to be in these big progressive banks where there are loads of, they can take a risk. If I became a financial advisor and it didn't work, what does it matter to Barclays? They got money for days. Just sack me, find someone else. So they can take a chance on you. So that's where it is good to be big. But sometimes you might need to go somewhere small and prove yourself. Yeah. And then go to the big. Like, don't always just aim for the graduate scheme. Sometimes go be an accountant in a small little firm and learn it and then apply for the bigger firm. Do you know what I mean? Once you've got the skill. So there's always other ways to do it.
Yeah. No, that's good. Thank you. And so you started the E-Man Effect last year, did you say?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, sorry. You started it last year. And so just how's the journey been? Have you been enjoying it? What obviously a lot of we've been in lockdown and stuff, but just generally speaking, how's the journey been?
It's been amazing. Like, I don't like to talk about how the journey's been because I'm an emotional person and I know that every time I think about it, I'll cry, bro. Trust me, I'll cry. Like,
let me get the tissues ready.
Because you gotta understand, like, I'm a black brother from Tower Hamlets, like, from nothing. Like, my parents are very normal. Like, I've lived a normal life. I used to share a 2-bed. We had a 2-bed flat, and I used to share it with my 2 sisters. That's not even legal anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? So we was big. Like, I used to have to get dressed in the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Because I got 2 sisters sharing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, my parents' house, we had cockroaches. Do you know what it's like to put your head down somewhere to sleep and know that there are cockroaches under there? The white man used to come in and take the little net underneath and the little box thing, and there'd be cockroach, and that's where you lay your head to sleep. I remember going to school and opening my bag and cockroach will come out, like, stamp it and just like hope no one noticed. To now you're on national television and revered as this financial, like, bro, like I can't forget where I've come from. Like I've come from nothing to here. And then I remember my first event 3 years ago, as Noir XL had 50 seats. I did a post on it the other day. 50 seats. We only sold 15 tickets. 10 of them, my cousin bought 10 tickets. He could only get 5 people to turn up. Do you know what I mean? And then I gave some to some friends just to fill it up. I said, let me give it away just so we can fill it. I've already paid cameraman and let's take some pictures. At least the next event will be bigger. People still didn't turn up, even when it was free. It's like, wow, I can't even give away to give this advice. And I could have just said, you know what, bun this. Let me go back and be employed. I got a wife, I got kids, do you know what I mean? But I carried on. And now the stuff that I was saying in that very first session, in that very first seminar, now I'm saying on BBC Live. I said it on This Morning. I'm saying it on Save Well, Spend Better Channel 4 show. I'm having interviews. Like the other day, I did an interview with the Express newspaper. I've been in the Evening Standard. These are papers that I used to pick up when I was walking from the bank because I just thought everyone in the city was doing it, so it was the right thing to do. Buy a newspaper after work. Now they want to interview me. They want my opinion on what's going on in the economy. Like, bro, I could cry every single time because I'm living proof that you can dream something and it can come true. And so, guess what? I'm still dreaming. Like, I'm still like now, but my dreams are even bigger. And that's the thing about dreams is that, like, you can only dream about what you know. Like, and that's the thing. And that's why reading is so important. And I always talk about reading.
Yeah, it just widens and broadens your horizon.
Like, there are things
Honestly.
that you will never know. Like, you can only dream about what you know. That's why some men are so much about the block and the ends. Bruv, if you were to read and understand how big this world is and the opportunities that are available to you, you'd be like, I can't wait to get off this block.
Honestly,
I can't wait to change my life. And so for me, that's why I always promote reading. And so now that I've seen the other side, like now I've got into this TV thing, like, okay, there's that over there now. It's like you get onto a mountain, like you climb this mountain and realize, right, there's bear. Now that we're this high, like there's bear. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just thought there was this one. Do you know what I mean? But there's
Yeah.
bear more opportunity out there. And so now I dream even bigger and even better. And do you know what I mean? And it's not greed, it's progression.
Yeah.
It's progression because I always remember my why. And that's why it's important to know why you do what you do. I always remember my why. And so for me, like when I think about where I am today, I think, wow, how many kids need to hear this story to understand that you can be almost a failure when it comes to education and now get paid to educate people. I'm a walking contradiction.
Wow. That's just wow. I need to take a sip of water. Emmanuel, I honestly, I could go on for a week. I've got so many more questions for you, but
Like we do a part 2. Trust
we
me.
might have to.
Come on.
We might have to.
So much to talk about, man.
Yeah, I've got.
Because we ain't even got into like how people spend their money and things that people can learn
This is
and
what
develop.
I wanted to ask you all of this.
So we'll do it again, and you know what I mean.
I wanted to ask you all of that. Oh God! All right. So yeah, we'll wrap it up. So just two quick questions.
Yeah,
two questions. Both of which I think I've asked all of my guests. The first one is what would your advice be for the kind of aspiring entrepreneur, business owner that wants to go into business for themselves? What one piece of advice would you give them?
I think the biggest thing I would say is try and learn from those that have gone before you. That's the biggest thing I can say is that you might have this banging idea, but 9 times out of 10, it's probably someone's already thought something similar. Learn from them. Do your research. Look at who else is in your marketplace. What are they doing well? What are they doing wrong? What are the things they can improve on? What are the things you can take from their journey? Don't just focus on, oh, my business is unique, and so I'm like, try and see where you can take to make that journey easier. That's one of the biggest things I think that, sometimes we just feel like we're so individual. But actually, we're not. Like the people have probably had similar ideas. If not, what you're doing is someone else is doing the exact same thing. Learn from that, develop and build on that, and see how you can improve and what makes you different and why people should choose you over them.
No, nice. And my second question, I kind of alluded to it earlier, and it's quite simply, what does success mean to you?
It's a good question. And I know they always say success is relative, but for me, success is, financial freedom. And financial freedom is not meaning that you have to be rich, but you are free to live the lifestyle. You have enough money to live the lifestyle that you want to live. For some people, that might only be $1,000 a month. For others, it might be 10. Do you know what I mean? But for me, if I'm successful, if I'm in a place where I can support my family, I can support my children, I can support the things that I want to do that are important to me, to my wife, and I do it in the way I want to do it. Meaning that if I want to be employed, I can be employed. If I don't want to be employed, I can do it self-employed. However I want to do it. If I want to take a month off, I can do that. I'm in that position to live the life that I want to live. I'm financially free. I'm not dependent on anyone. That's, to me, that's success.
Nice. Wow, Emmanuel. Wow. Like I said, hour and a half. Wow. I mean, there's a lot more that, like I said, I want to ask you, but we'll save it all for the part 2, shall we?
Come on, definitely.
I'm holding you to that, you know.
No, I'm on it.
I'm holding you to that.
Plus, you're local, so this is.
It's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's lightweight. We can just get that set up whenever.
Whenever.
That's perfect. Wow, Emmanuel. Well, thank you very much for that. We will continue this conversation, people. Yeah. Don't worry. We'll get Emmanuel back in the studio and we'll pick his brain a little bit further. But for now, that's all we're gonna have time for. But before we sign off, Emmanuel, please, where can the people find you?
Yeah, man. So it's the E-Man Effect UK. So the E-Man Effect UK. That's on Instagram, it's on Twitter. It's Emmanuel Suquo, ASUQUO. That's the website. team@emmanuelsuquo.com is the email address. Yeah, man, get in contact. We're here to help.
Nice. Thank you very much. And thank you for the gems. Thank you for taking your time out your day to come and have a chat with me. Really appreciate that. Honestly, you dropped fire today. Honestly, if this was, if this was a live, like an Instagram live or something, the comment section would just be fire, bomb shit, everything.
Trust me.
Honestly, I really appreciate that, man. And we'll line this up again.
No, definitely.
We'll line this up again. Well, people, that was a very insightful chat with Emmanuel Suquo from the E-Man Effect. Well, if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe, share, all of that. Like I said earlier, if you're listening on Apple Music, give us a 5-star rating, please. It helps us obviously shoot up the charts. We want this information to just spread to as many people as possible. We need people to hear this information so they can feel inspired to start their success story as well. So please, people, let's help us shoot up the charts and and get this into people's ears. But for now, I've been your host, Darren. This has been The Black Print. And don't forget, do something today that your future self will thank you for. I was meant to tell you that. That's like, when you're saying do better every day, that's kind of like, that's my thing. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Do something today that your future self will thank you for and start your success story. Guys, like I said, I've been Darren. This is The Black Print. Peace.